The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Wave. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning, I'm Nico Haan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and our freedoms, I'm Paige Clarke, and good morning.
And it's a beautiful day in downtown Clearwater, 81 degrees and kind of muggy. We're into it.
Yeah, we're into this hot summer, but we sure had a nice 4th of July. How about you?
Yeah, it was
What'd
great.
you do?
Well, pretty much stayed home. Relaxed, read a lot, went outside, enjoyed the free air out there, listened to a few fireworks before we went to bed. Went to bed kind of early because we got the show to do.
Yep, exactly. Well, I went and saw that movie, The State of Jones, with Matthew McConaughey.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's so much like how what we do on this show. We find out that many of the stories that we've heard that we thought were true were not necessarily true.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And it just seems like lately I've been getting a lot of information. I saw this movie, The State of Jones, goes back to Civil War time and what happened in the South, a little fraction kind of...
That small town.
in its county area in Mississippi. And it's just not at all what we heard about. You know, we don't hear about these stories of these little heroes from our history books.
Yeah.
And then I was, this morning, I was watching a video about Native Americans and how it was on Russia Today. And they were talking about how we've slanted the Pilgrim story somewhat to favor the white settlers compared to the Indians. And some of the accounts of early settlers when they saw the Americas, you thought they'd landed in Atlantis, and I think that's probably more how it was than the primitive way that we hear. But anyways, it's all about kind of going down the rabbit hole and finding out what the truth is, which is what we do here, Nico.
Yeah, it's not so much a rabbit hole, it's just a hole, I think, because, in the Smithsonian this month, there's a whole article about the Navajos and the whole education system and how the white man, forced these people out of their traditions, outlawing their languages and their dances and taking the kids hundreds and hundreds of miles away from their parents, cutting their hair, not allowing them to speak, and putting basically in a military-type concentration camp. And really, this stuff progressively got worse, and even in the 70s, they started passing some laws. There was laws all along, every 10 or 20 years, trying to help these people, but it never did. And of course, they're still on reservations. They're still not American citizens, as we are, in a sense. They're native people.
I think it's one of the greatest catastrophes we could ever have, and it was truly one of the greatest genocides.
Well,
and,
when we look at the 4th of July and
on,
everything like that, and we celebrate how great our country is, we also have to look at some of the things that happened that got where we were, and it's not always that great.
No, I agree.
So celebration is great, and remembering some of the great things that our history has, no doubt about it, that's good. But I think we have to look at the other side because we have to have empathy for what happened so we can change.
I think you're exactly right, Nico, and it really does cause you to take pause when you see some of the things that maybe are really more likely the truth. And so what is the truth? Let's talk about a couple things today. We were talking, you and I were saying, let's talk a little bit about water. Get a lot of questions about water.
I've always been an advocate for drinking distilled water ever since 1969. In fact, this article says it was a craze and it started about 1970. So
yeah,
I guess I was 1 year
hippies.
ahead. But what really, there's two different articles here. One says early death comes from drinking distilled water, and the other one says why you should be drinking distilled water. So I thought we'd deconstruct these and see where we're at, because for the last 50 years or so, I've been drinking it. And for me, I think it's been doing well. But Dr. McCullough, one of the guys I admire and look at a lot of his stuff on his sites, I think he's on the wrong edge of this. He says many health fanatics are surprised to hear that drinking distilled water on a regular basis is potentially very dangerous. there's a few things they always bring up. One is that it absorbs carbon dioxide, and of course, distilled water does become more acidic if you leave the bottle open, because it does absorb that. However, I do think that the body has a natural way of recreating the type of pH.
You know, I totally agree with that. That's a really good point that you just made about recreating the pH, because that's one of the sales motions that a lot of super alkaline water companies use.
Exactly.
Introduce alkaline water to the body. And the pH, the body is a wonderful chemistry lab. The body is going to make the right, make the right chemistry, right pH.
It wants to be in homeostasis. It wants to be regular.
The stomach has a pH of 2 if you're lucky.
Right.
Hopefully it's not. So what do you think happens to that water when it goes through the stomach?
Well, distilled water has usually a pH of maybe 3 or 4. So naturally, the stomach wants to catch up. So it wants to supply you with enough ammunition to get rid of that acidity. So it's really producing chemicals in your body that help digestion.
Yeah, it does actually encourage digestion, they do believe, distilled water. And I think there's some good pros and cons to both. And maybe that's part of the reason that I haven't gotten on either one side of that ballywagon. And I drink both.
Yeah.
I drink both. And but let's talk a little bit.
I think we always drink both, because if you're not drinking water, then the other stuff in it probably isn't distilled, unless you're talking about maybe soft drinks and stuff like that, which has really bad water in it. But,
well, nature's preferred filtration system is distilled. That's exactly how we get the water on the earth, and nature uses distilled. And when you're actually eating fruits and vegetables, you're actually eating distilled water.
Okay.
And I think another person who's very interesting, if you want to, decide some of this for yourself, is Andrew Norton Weber.
Yeah.
I've talked to you about his philosophy that we should be drinking distilled waters, that we are actually a distillery with our kidneys. He's under the assumption that urine therapy is the ultimate distilled water.
And of course, that's been done for thousands of years with all kinds of indigenous people.
Yeah, exactly. And certainly in times when you need to save yourself.
Yeah. And there's another guy, Dr. David Williams, who I like a lot too, talks about why we should be drinking distilled water. And of course, one of the things that everybody says is that we have a lot of chemicals in our water.
Hundreds of thousands of chemicals and pesticides.
75,000 chemicals used by industry and agriculture. And this brings to mind, of course, the toxic bloom that we have because of the Lake Okeechobee. Yeah,
right.
So we have rivers that are running down into Palm Beach County and the counties on the east side, and one of the counties, I think it's Lee County on the west side. These are runoffs from the agricultural people that are surrounding the Lake Okeechobee. And what happens is, because we're now into a tropical storm season, they want to lower the lake in case we have a lot of rain, so we won't be flooding those people out there, which is smart. But however, there's a lot of toxic materials in that lake, which is a freshwater lake, and now we get all that fresh water and all the contaminants that go with it into the ocean, where our friends, our tourists, who we really want down here in Florida, now are stuck watching a green slime instead of bathing in our beautiful ocean. So not happening here in Clearwater and Tampa Bay region. That's much south of us. So, you can still come down here and enjoy the sun for sure. And, we're up here on a break, so I'd like to remind people that today we are going to get a new Health Signals newsletter out there.
Hot off the press.
Yeah, as well as a new exercise, and the exercise is different primal movements I thought I'd bring to you. So take a look at those things when they come up later today. And our number here is 877-927-6648. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Hey, welcome back to Living a Primal Lifestyle. I'm Paige Clarke with Nico Haan. So, Nico, let's talk a little bit more about water. And the key thing is we all need to, drink better quality water.
Yeah, and you mentioned too before that was the containers are everything too. So if you can do glass, that's the best thing. There's some new plastics out there that don't leak, but you have to be careful not to leave that stuff in the sun. And if they're delivering bottled water to you and you're not home and they sit out there in Florida, and they're sitting out there in the sun, that's not good for them.
Well, I did a video recently. It's kind of gotten pretty viral
I saw
on the
that.
internet,
Yeah.
and it's really about those really cheap, crunchy plastic bottles, folks. Even if they're left out in the sun when they're delivered, it's the fact that when they're actually made, they're little
That's right.
plastic pucks that are extruded with the heat.
Mm-hmm.
And at the point of the filling of those water, you have 25,000 different petrochemicals being infused.
Yeah.
And I like people to really remember that water is a carrier. It's actually a crystal in effect.
Mm-hmm.
It carries information. That's why it's so powerful in homeopathic medicine and vibrational healing, is that it can carry a signal, it can carry a frequency, and we have just got to eliminate that. So when we get to whether or not we should have distilled water, I like what Dr. Williams said. Distilled water takes the water out of the chemicals instead of getting the chemicals out of the water like other filtration.
Putting it, yeah.
And that's nature's way of cleaning. The distillation process of rain, of pulling it up into the atmosphere, of distilling it, raining down. What I love the most is water that has action. And what is action?
Structured, yeah.
Structured. And, Gerald Pollack wrote the book, The Fourth Phase of Water,
Right.
which is where we realize that water in nature is in this fourth phase, which is a crystalline, almost like a quartz crystal.
Tumbling down the mountainside.
Tumbling
and the
down the
waterfalls,
mountains,
yeah.
getting the energy of the spin, the exposure to some minerals and so forth.
Yeah. Because the planet's spinning, even though we don't notice it, we know this, and the spin itself creates in a waterfall a natural vortex that the water uses to reconstruct itself to make it healthier. Simple as
There
that.
you go. And distillation does provide us with an option of knowing that our water is truly pure because of this exposure to these chemicals and so forth today. We really have to worry. I really suggest people do have a home distiller that's not electrically bound, like a big Berkey or something, because if there was a disruption or something going on in our water supply, it would be nice to know that you could create
Yeah,
pure water.
We get ours delivered too, and it's always been I was always thinking of changing this, and I've been looking into it. The big burkas, those are the natural ones to go to, and I think that's where we're leaning. It's a great filtration system. At the same time, the water kind of gets structured.
I like that, and what I also love is utilizing earth minerals to structure, using infrared technology, using. We've got something really exciting coming out for Healthy Fit Club that includes all of these natural structuring abilities, the filtration that removes all the harmful, fluorides, chloramines, chlorines, and I think that's going to be, and actually has the vortex action.
Nice.
So I think
so we'll look for that. That's be really cool, and we need more options. And people, the reason we bring this up and the two different sides of the stories, so you can make up your own mind. I've been doing distilled water for 50 years. Seems to be no problem for me. In fact, I think I'm a lot healthier than a lot of people. It may not be the water, it may be something else, but I'm going to keep this path because I'm pretty confident that what Dr. Williams is talking about, how water seeks its own kind of balance, or your body seeks its own kind of balance, especially with pH, alkalinity, and I think a lot of different functions. We try to always normalize, and we get into problems when that normalization is disrupted, and it's really disrupted from our modern food, our bad water, our bad air, and all the chemicals and everything that go along with our modern living. That's just my opinion.
Well, I think one of the biggest misconceptions people have about distilled water is that it leaches minerals. Well, I believe that because of distilled water's charge, it leaches the minerals we don't want, the positively charged minerals, the minerals that our body can't do anything with. You've heard of people turning to stone. See, if it's in a mineral form that we cannot use, then the body has no choice but to say, what am I going to do with this raw material? I guess I'll stick it in her eye and she'll get cataracts. Or I'll stick it in her joints and joint pain. Or in the aorta and calcification of the aorta. So a lot of the minerals are not in the right form. One of the reasons that I fell in love with the science that we used in Primal Edge, the fulvic and humic minerals, is they're really nature's alchemic genius, meaning the soil microorganism breakdown actually knows how to recognize a chemical as being friend or foe. So that was a little bit of a tongue twister for the story this morning.
I've got plenty of those myself.
You know what I'm saying. And so I think that that's one of the things that I really like. I like the idea of using distilled water to be a solvent. Distilled water is a solvent. And in this world with, as Nico said, 75,000 petrochemicals, toxins, and so forth, it's important to sometimes use a water that's actually going after what I call the bad chemicals.
Yeah, and the other thing is, of course, our kidneys do a great job of filtering out and keeping our body in balance with these minerals. So your liver keeps a nice balance, your kidneys keep a nice balance, and that's the way the body kind of recovers. So as long as you're healthy, I think drinking distilled water is good. And now if you're not healthy, maybe you have to look at something else.
Yeah, if you're not eating enough greens, really we want to look at getting our minerals from our food. And where do we get our minerals? We get our minerals from the soil, from animals that are eating healthy foods, or from the healthy greens themselves, or colorful vegetables and so forth. So these are some points for you all to think about. I think there's room for all of it. What I don't think we should be doing is exposing ourselves to the dioxins and the chemicals and the plastics. So whether you want to distill and have a big Berkey, which is very cost effective once you buy one, couple $100, you can obviously, but you can actually take distilled water and restructure it as nature does. Nature takes the distilled water, vortexes it down a bubbling brook.
Well, as your ex-husband said in the wine, when we were talking about aerating the wine, all you're doing is spinning it a little bit, and it's the same process. So you can actually take and spin your water manually. It does the same darn thing.
Exactly.
Pretty
and
cool.
That's the art of drinking water, is to realize it's such a healing substance for our bodies. And there's a great website I'll tell everybody here. It just dawned on me when we said this. It's called Dances with Water. And it's two female researchers, I believe, that are writing a lot about the art of structuring water. They use clay round bowls, almost egg-shaped bowls, to put your water. And you can actually do different things with your water. You can take your distilled water or your filtered, like I said, I love this way of using this system that we're developing in Healthy Fit that uses infrared technologies, tourmaline gemstones.
Of course, you can
that.
use the sun too. There's a company that a couple of months back, and I put it in the Health Signals newsletter, where they had this clay or ceramic dish, and inside you put the water and it naturally distills it. I don't know quite how it works, but it was a very interesting article. And I think that product is out, and it was developed especially for indigenous people out in the wild.
Wow.
So
we'll have to
no
check that out.
electricity, yeah.
You might
I'll
want
look
to check
back
that
out
site,
again.
Dances with Water, too.
Okay.
There's people have some interesting stuff.
Okay, folks, we're up on a break here. I'd like to remind you that my Health Signals newsletter is coming your way today, the brand new one. Please pick up our Primal Edge Healthy One-Shot Wonder daily supplement. And, of course, you can do this all on the TFNN.com websites. Stick around. The number here is 877-927-6648. Paige and I will be right back.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Nico and Paige here, Living a Primal Lifestyle. And Paige, you have been talking to me about your new sunscreen. And I thought we'd talk about this because one of the properties that you're using is the very reason that we take our omega-3s. Mm-hmm. So tell me about this thing.
Well, I've really been interested in how can we protect ourselves and understanding that we're kind of caught in this crux of we need radiation in order to generate vitamin D, which helps prevent diseases, but we also need to protect our skin. I am far more concerned about people using sunscreens, and again, the toxic chemical soup that we're absorbing in our skins, and we're actually polluting our oceans because of all the people slathering on sunscreens.
Think green algae.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Things out of balance, right? The research on astaxanthin is just so compelling that I've been messing around at home making my own homemade sunscreen. Because remember, I always believe the stuff you put on your skin should come from your kitchen. So if you're not willing to eat it, then don't put it on your skin. But let's talk a little bit about what astaxanthin is. Many of you may have not heard of astaxanthin. But astaxanthin is a fat-soluble carotenoid, which is a nutrient that's found in nature and primarily found in sea creatures or animals that eat algae. And astaxanthin is extremely powerful, and I want to give you a couple points about astaxanthin, why it is considered to be the most powerful antioxidant nature has to offer.
Well, it gives like the color of the krill.
Well, so, you think about wild-caught salmon.
Right.
You think about shrimp.
You think about lobsters.
Think about lobsters.
How red they are.
You think about flamingos.
Flamingos, yeah.
Right. I didn't realize this. Flamingos are all white until they start eating when they get older, and they start eating the algae.
Right.
And that turns the pink pigment. So it's really like a protection. The pigment protects the algae itself
It's
from
really
a lack
super
of
nutrient, isn't it?
Oh, super nutrient. It protects the algae itself from a lack of nutrition or overexposure to the sun, so it doesn't burn out. And
it's algae's survival mechanism. It serves as a force field to protect the algae from lack of nutrition or intense sunlight. There you go. There's our connection that you were talking about right there. So that's
it's
why
it's fascinating because it operates in both a water-soluble and a fat-soluble state. So it protects the cell membrane on both
Kinda
that
like,
lipid and that water-based.
So iodine has a similar property because of the color? Is that?
Well, I'm not sure that iodine. That's funny that you would say that because that's what I'm using together. I believe iodine is the.
I just see the color combination there, and iodine's much more powerful naturally, but so is that.
Well, in their own kind of ways, they're really rather complementary, and I've been using them in a topical sunscreen. I've been making macadamia nut, or it could be olive oil. I've been putting iodine, and I've been putting astaxanthin.
And what do you use as your base?
Macadamia nut oil or olive oil or coconut oil.
So you don't use the baby lotion or anything like that?
Oh, no, I don't use any chemical stuff. I'm going to use a natural.
I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, no mineral oil.
Right.
I think we remember in the 70s.
Yeah.
With the iodine
Baby
and baby
oil,
oil,
yeah.
which, quite frankly, the iodine was a natural antioxidant. Iodine is an antioxidant.
And baby oil was probably in a better state in those days, in the 50s maybe, I don't know.
Well, I think it was just a poor choice, but it kept it in suspension. But now we know we can use, because baby oil is non-nutritive, so it just sort of sits on the skin. It's a mineral oil, but when we use these nutritive oils, we have a selection that we can use. And again, we don't like to use the polys that can get too oxidized, although with loaded antioxidant, I think you're, with iodine and astaxanthin in there, the oils would be rather protected from
That's for sure.
acidity.
And in fact, it's known as a force field, protect algae from a lack of nutrition, but it's also known as a radiation shield. And that should
And
tell
so
you
is
something.
iodine.
Yeah.
So is iodine. So there you go. The two together are really great.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're going to be starting to get this product out to you.
Oh, I don't know. Actually,
just
it's a
using this,
recipe. It's a recipe. Try it for yourself. Now, it's interesting because you can imagine the color. It's a reddish brown.
Okay.
So the more iodine I add, and I'm messing around with the idea of adding a little bit of coffee. I actually met someone in South, so a little bit of coffee, because again, coffee can be maybe left over from the morning. Add it to it.
Now,
but
it's
it
coffee
gives you,
in the liquid form, not
probably not the grains, because I don't want to put the grains on my skin.
Exactly.
But this suntan lotion I've been making kind of turns your skin a little bit of a reddish color, but it seeps in. Seeps in quite quickly. And you remember the product called Bain de Soleil? It was an orange jelly.
Yep. Yeah, I do
Very
remember that.
curious now.
If that was in there?
If they were actually using astaxanthin, because it's not like it's brand new. It's
I
just
think they were using red dye number 2.
It
myself.
could have
That's
been, yeah, it
probably
could have been.
yeah.
But it was interesting the way it changed, and it did have some protection and gave you a really pretty glow.
Another interesting thing is because the reason salmon have the strength and endurance to swim up rivers and waterfalls for days on end is their diets are high in this pigment, where it concentrates in their muscles and makes them one of the kings of endurance of the animal kingdom. So that's another interesting part of it here. Not only does it protect our skin, not only does it give us a nice little color, but also in the muscles, it actually adds to our endurance and our strength.
It is huge. I'm really interested in its protection of brain tissue because our brain is fat and it does cross the blood-brain barrier. But astaxanthin's unique antioxidant artillery provides for impressive health benefits, including improving cardiovascular health, stabilizing blood sugar, boosting your immune system, fighting cancer, reducing inflammation, improving eye health. If you're having trouble seeing, start dosing up on astaxanthin. In 6 weeks, you're going to see a big difference.
Now, where do you get this in the form that you're using it?
Well, I use Premier Research Labs.
Of course.
There's another couple companies that I really like that I believe have real pure. There's a company, I think it's called Sinotech is the company that actually harvests it and does a lot of research on it.
PosiCell is another company that does krill oil with different stages of strengths of that in it. And I think they sell that by itself also. So,
I'd like to give some people a few bullet points
Okay.
about what makes astaxanthin so special, why you might look at it as an important supplement. Because quite frankly, as much as we love wild-caught salmon, and beware, farm-raised does not generate the benefits because they're using a synthetic astaxanthin to dye it pink.
So
you
let me-
want the real pink.
Let me mention this first because we're going to go on a break and then we'll go to the bullet points.
I already went over that one.
Yeah, so I just want to realize that for people who are athletic, people who are into working out, this is an important thing because remember what I said about the salmon. It provides so many different things that you never hear about this.
Well, I think the real thing with athletes is that athletics generate a tremendous amount of stress and free radicals in the body of the athletes. This is why super powerhouse antioxidants should always be part of your supplementation or opportunity to find ways to get it. But here are some things. It's by far the most powerful carotenoid when it comes to free radical scavenging. It has 65 times more power than vitamin C, 54 times more powerful than beta-carotene, probably what you're more familiar with.
And 550 times more powerful than vitamin E and 11 times more powerful than beta-carotene. Well, you said that already. In a singlet oxygen form. So
Yeah, so it really goes after those individual oxygen-free radicals. And the damaging effects of sunlight and various organic materials are caused by this less stable form of oxygen. And it's just so important to give ourselves some power to fight what we're being exposed to.
And there's another thing. Well, let's save this for after the break because I think this is really important that it actually crosses the blood-brain barrier.
And it's really protective to these delicate arteries and veins in the eyes, and we're seeing improved eyesight. So we'll give you some more tips.
Please pick up our Primal Edge and
tuned.
our new Health Signals newsletter coming to you today. I apologize, it's a real big issue because there's some long stuff in there. But
It's good stuff, though.
It's good, yeah. So we'll be right back, folks. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks, and we're talking about astraxanthin.
Astaxanthin.
Yeah, one of the many tongue twisters I have. It's a natural antioxidant in the carotenoid family that gives, of course, salmon its red color. And research that's published in the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism suggests that it could reduce oxidative stress, inflammation, enhance the immune system, and that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, so we already mentioned to you it's 550 times more powerful than vitamin E, 800 times more powerful than CoQ10, 6,000 times more potent than vitamin C. And it's found to be so powerful because it can get into the cell membrane. We've talked about how important it is to heal the cell to be well and to have a strong lipid layer. It reduces wrinkles and age spots. It improves your vision, very protective for our vision. It supports joint health.
Yep. It reduces signs of aging, improves your endurance and exercise recovery, which we said, reduces the risk of Alzheimer's disease.
Because it crosses that blood-brain barrier.
One of those 3 things that we talked about. First, there's obesity, then there's getting into diabetes, and then the last thing that hits you from a modern diet is the Alzheimer's. It improves skin and reduces sun damage, increases your energy.
And your focus, and reduces incidences of ADHD. Again, why would this be going on in the brain? Because we're getting a fat-soluble nutrient through the blood-brain barrier, and we're protecting that delicate tissue from oxidative damage.
Yeah, because as we age, the cell changes and becomes damaged through oxidation. And this antioxidant protects the cells from oxidation, so your cells stay healthier, younger looking. Of course, it shows up in your skin, your eyes.
Washington State University has been doing some research, and that's what got my interest, was looking at the research in astaxanthin as a nutrient that could help slow the aging process and give you glowing, clear skin.
Yeah.
So we can use it to protect our skin, but we can also use it to help reverse the signs. There was a study that showed animals were given 20 milligrams of astaxanthin daily for 4 months, and they had improved cellular function in their white blood cells, and they also had better glutathione. Glutathione is your internal antioxidant that our bodies make. It's really important to repair DNA damage. And
you know, the interesting thing too is in the early 1990s, this first started showing up as a supplement in the health food stores, and it wasn't really known for its properties like maybe the beta carotene was. But slowly but surely, they became more and more studies on this, showing that it has high anti-inflammatory properties, and they are, you know,
it's just as sensational as fish oil and turmeric. And you know, we hear about all of that.
And of course, the colors are in there, aren't they?
Right. It's the power of pigment. And if you think of all of these nutritional things that we just mentioned. There's a lot of power in the color. So I want to make a comment about this for skincare. Beauty is an inside-outside job. So if we take this nutritional powerhouse internally, we can really help protect all of our cells, and we're going to see it in our skin. We're going to see it in our whole body. So a lot of people are asking, how do you start taking astaxanthin?
Okay.
So I would recommend, from what I'm looking at, as a minimum, take 4 milligrams, and that's usually what's available in one of the capsules.
Okay.
Start with that. It depends on how you absorb it. If you're a high-performance athlete, you may need to take 8 or even 3 of those capsules. Now they've got some that are 12 milligram.
And this is a daily supplement that you're
Yeah, you can take it as a daily supplement. If you're, right now it's the summer, you should start taking astaxanthin. Within 2 weeks, you'll start to notice the protection in the sun ability. You'll maybe be at an event and you'll be able to handle the sun before burning. So it really does protect you from the burning. It also gives your skin, just as the animals that eat this algae and it produces the red effect, the lobster and so forth in their shell, it provides a natural glow. And we know that research says that we view people with a healthy glow that has a little bit of what we call that Indian glow, that healthy brown-red pigment that we view as being very healthy.
Yeah, and that's why people go and have this color done to their skin. Trump, I think, is using that right now because he looks pretty orange sometimes.
Yeah, he's a little too orange.
Yeah, I think so too. And our former Speaker of the House too was that same way. So these people are trying to get that through color. Well, that's not the way to do it. It's actually the internal is better using products like this. It just makes a lot of sense. And as we age, we get age spots, we get wrinkles and things like that. And this is an antioxidant that actually targets those things.
It literally protects you from getting these things, but it also helps reverse them. It's rather intriguing. I really do think this is something that everyone should take a closer look at. And again, why didn't we put it in the Primal Edge? Well, it's a fat-soluble nutrient. We limited how many fat-soluble nutrients we put into the Primal Edge, but I really do believe this is something that will benefit everyone, and because we really have such an onslaught of oxidants, things that are creating free radical damage. We need to do everything we can, and this is a great bang for your buck.
Yeah, and the reason I really like it too is that recovering from workouts are enhanced. Being an endurance athlete myself, I need that extra push. Especially as I'm getting older. So I think this is for you athletes out there. You got to look into this a little bit more. Find premier research labs, great source. There are other sources out there. Call Paige and ask her opinion on that because she's the expert on this. But taking 4 milligrams of this every day for 28 days has a significant increase in power for athletes, and they've proven this in different kinds of tests. They've got greater power, more endurance, it lasts longer without any ill effects.
I think it's a great thing. And, again, this is looking to nature to help provide us protection from what we're living with. And so I definitely can recommend that astaxanthin is something that can help you stay beautiful on the outside as well as on beauty on the inside.
Now, what's the price thing on something like this? Is it expensive?
No, I don't think so. Okay. No, I'm bad about price off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but,
I can't remember
you can Google astaxanthin on Amazon or something and look at different sources. As I said, I love Premier Research because I know they're gonna. Premier Research, for example, takes and looks at the spectrometry of the sample, and then they determine which one has the best profile.
Yeah,
so I like that.
It's really important, folks, to look at your vendors. What they're doing, where it comes from, look on who's financing these people, so you can get an idea and a feel for the company. You want to be real comfortable when you're taking something, putting it on your skin, or putting it inside your body. We always talk about this with food, but with the nutrients like this, I think it's even more important.
Nico, I want to make a little point because we kind of glossed over it, but the importance of eye health. If you've had trouble seeing at night, you will see improvement, I believe.
Okay.
A lot of people, by taking astaxanthin, helps with that visual acuity. And there's a startling statistic that, 60 or so % of all people over 70 develop macular degeneration. God forbid, maybe not the worst form, but it is preventable because it's a nutrient deficiency, and it's a nutrient deficiency that results because of the depletion of these super carotenoid type antioxidants. So it's the lutein, it's the zeaxanthin, it's the astaxanthin that can help protect you from macular degeneration. I recommend a product called astaxanthin. I think this is great, but I really love taking a product that Premier has called Ocuven. And Dr. Marshall teaches us maybe load up if you've had a little vision issue, kind of build up that reserve because we're so deplete of these nutrients in the soil, and then take one capsule of, say, Ocuven 3 times a week, and you can probably help protect yourself from having that kind of eye health. And eyes are important.
Okay, folks, we'll be right back. Thanks for sticking around. We've got another segment left, and I got a special report on this one. So
suspicious observers coming to us?
Kind of.
Kind of? Somewhere there.
We'll be right back.
We'll have to wait to see.
I guess.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV. But if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Join John Logan as he teaches you trading techniques utilizing the TAS Profile Scanner. The Global Market Pulse, next on TFNN.
Welcome back, folks. Nico and Paige here, Living a Primal Lifestyle. And I would just want to bring up this interesting little article that was in 1850, a farmer found a secret door in the sand. And what he saw on the other side is fascinating, of course. This
is in Scotland,
yeah.
And it's called Skara Brae. And what I think is fascinating is that there was a kind of a bad winter in Scotland in the 1850s, and when the storm dissipated, the this was revealed.
Yeah, so this is much older than that.
Oh, yeah.
1850 was that little mini kind of where we had a cold spell. But I do believe this is very old. I don't know how old, maybe 5,000, maybe 10,000, maybe 30,000 even. We don't really know, but this is evidence of people living underground. And you don't do this for any small reason. You don't, I mean, there's many caves you can do, but actually to build something like this, and we see this all over the world on different
Listen to what it
continents.
says here, Nico. It says, so really what it was, the settlement's 7 or 8 houses were connected to each other by tunnels.
Yeah.
And
They didn't
each
want to go outside
resident could
anymore.
be closed off with a stone door. And in every room, one bed was always bigger than the other, but no one knows why. Each room also contained cabinets, dressers, seats, boxes. And they might have even stored live seafood for later consumption.
yeah.
And one house is distinct from the other. Archaeologists didn't find any beds or other furniture. This house is believed to have functioned as a workshop.
Yeah.
That's right there.
Very cool stuff.
They even had a sewage system, and each house had its own
So
toilet.
it means that they weren't just living there and going above ground. They were living there and staying there. And this brings to mind, of course, the little ice age theory that we have, that the sun is going to a grand minimum in the next decade. We're just passing the height of our solar maximum. And the solar maximum...
Going into a grand solar
the
minimum.
and the solar maximum was the lowest solar maximum in hundreds of years, over 400 years, and the fastest decline we've ever seen. So there's a lot of things pointing to this. So the sun is undergoing a change, and now we have another physicist that's come on board and say we're not going to global warming. We're really going into a solar grand minimum, and then the sun is getting very weak, so producing very few sunspots. So when do we get a coronal mass ejection from the sun, or something like an X-ray flux from some other planet or other star? Then we're going to get whacked with something, and it's not going to be pretty.
And it could knock out the electrical grid.
Yeah, certainly, and it could, there's been evidence that it forms mountains.
Better go get your
that
Berkey.
it does a lot of things. Yeah, exactly. This is all part of living a primal lifestyle, knowing what happened in the past. And the Chinese knew this.
Learning
and
from our mistakes.
What I'm thinking is the Chinese have put so much effort and so much money and building railroads and everything in East Africa and West Africa, and starting areas where they can grow, because if they look at the record, their dynasties always fell at a grand solar maximum. And yes, so they have known this, and this goes back 10,000 years. So every grand solar maximum, the dynasties has fallen.
So we're just ending the smallest of the grand solar maximums, and we're entering a period of solar minimum.
And it's very late. We should have entered this about 3 or 4 years ago. The scientists now, even NASA, is saying that this is becoming more and more looking like the sun is shutting down. A lot of people are saying, well, that doesn't mean much. A lot of people are saying it means a lot. So do the research yourself, and that's kind of what I'm doing, folks, getting prepared.
Yep. And that's the most important thing that we're doing here is trying to help us all go through the information we have so we can make good choices for ourselves and for our families.
And a lot of
Stay
this
healthier.
information is in the Health Signals newsletter, folks. Get the new copy today. It's really important that you start reading this stuff, do your own research, and then you can make your own decisions.
And join our conversations here.
exactly.
We're here to take your calls and questions, and we'll
that we
see you
are.
next time on Living a Primal Lifestyle, and hope you stay healthy.
Thanks for sticking around, folks.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.